Hey e-commerce marketing podcast listener, I wanted to let you know that we have created 16 e-commerce marketing videos for you. You can download these free videos by visiting ecommercemarketingpodcast.com/videos or by texting the word videos to +1 480 418 1411. These step-by-step video marketing tutorials will teach you how to drive more traffic to your e-commerce website, how to get more backlinks to your e-commerce website, and how to optimize your website to get more paid customers. Get the videos right now by visiting ecommercemarketingpodcast.com/videos or by texting videos to +1 480 418 1411. Welcome to the e-commerce marketing podcast. Today's guest is Scott Volker, and he's from the amazingseller.com. We are going to be talking about selling on Amazon. We're going to be talking about how to market some products, how to even do research and finding products. Welcome to the e-commerce marketing podcast, Scott. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. Thanks for having me, Robert.
So if you can just give us a quick introduction about yourself, how you ended up selling on Amazon, and what you do at the amazingseller.com.
Yeah, absolutely. I won't go back too far. I'm a 43-year-old man. I'm married. I've got a family, 3 children. I've been married for 21 years, actually going to be 22 here in a month. So pretty happy about that. But I'm just a regular guy that, started when I was 18 years old, right out of high school, going into my father's business and learning about business in the contracting business that was. But then at that age, really not having, I didn't go to college or anything like that. So I didn't really have a ton of background in business, but I learned a lot by being in my father's business. I also learned that I didn't want to be in partnerships. And I also learned that I didn't really want employees and that type of stuff, but it taught me a lot. And from there, my wife and I, after I was working for my father for probably a good 8 to 10 years, somewhere around there, I forget now, it's been so long, I was just getting kind of burnt out. I was working 60 plus hours a week and I wasn't seeing my new daughter at the time. I only had one child at the time. And we decided to go with a hobby that she had, which was photography. And we turned that into, kind of fast forward here, we turned that into a business. And after about 18 months of deciding to start that, again, knowing nothing about photography, we ended up starting a little local business in our own photography studio, built that into a 6-figure business in a relatively quick time. And then from there, about 6-7 years later, I decided to start teaching people online about photography and about how we started without really having any formal education. And that really introduced me to the online space. And it's just always been, part of me that's always been entrepreneurial. I've always wanted to kind of find other revenue streams and stuff. And then that's where Amazon really piqued my interest. I had other things that I had also dabbled in, but Amazon is the most recent one and the one that I've really kind of drilled down into recently. So I just started testing this whole Amazon thing out. I was starting to hear how people were making some money at it, selling physical product. And then I gave it a shot. I figured, I'd give it maybe 3-4 months and I'd see what would happen. And long story short is in the first 90 days, I was able to generate about $40,000 in revenue. So it was definitely proving the concept. And from there, I just decided to go all in and focus on this. And then that brings us up to kind of the podcast. And I started that really to kind of help myself because I wanted to reach out to other people that were more successful than I was and that were a little bit further along, be able to interview them, but then also, share my experiences, share my journey with other people that might want to get started. And that really morphed into this really, really amazing thing, as we call it, the Amazing Seller. So that's where we are today.
Okay, thanks for the overview and congratulations on the 22 years of marriage.
Thank you.
So are you still, are you and your wife partners in the business, or did you actually commit to not working with partners?
No, my wife is my partner in life, and she's also a partner in business always. She's always been a really good partner in a sense that keeps me on track. She also is one of my biggest cheerleaders. So yeah, I don't even think if I didn't have her, I don't even know if I would have really continued to look into Amazon. She kind of gave me a nudge and said, hey, if it's looking like it's piquing your interest, you're probably onto something, so you might want to give it a try. So no, she definitely helps helps me out in the business and in any business that we do. She's always there to help. So yeah, definitely a big part of my success.
Okay, so now let's get into Amazon. So how does somebody research and even choose their first product and decide, okay, I want to sell this on Amazon? How can somebody get started on that whole process?
Well, there's a few different ways you can get started. And there was one way that I was seeing that a lot of people were doing, and they still do, and it's called retail arbitrage. And it's where you go into a big box store or even around your house if you have stuff that you want to get rid of. It's kind of like eBay in a sense, but yet if you have stuff that's still sealed, that's even better because it says new. But with retail arbitrage, if you go into a local big box store, Walmart, Lowe's, Staples, any of those, you can go ahead and see that they have clearance items. They're clearing, off the shelves because they're going into a new season or whatever. And they usually deeply discount those. If you find them for 75% off, 80% off, and then you can go and resell them on Amazon. The problem with that I didn't really like was, and I come from, again, the physical side, and I also see the digital side. What really turned me off with that is having to go out and find more products all the time. So I had to go out there. If I found 10, I'd sell them, and then I'd have to sell another or go find another 10 and then sell them. So I didn't really like that model. So that kind of turned me off. And I started looking into that, and then I kind of said, I don't think I want to do that. But for a lot of people, they get started that way, and it's a great way to get started without a lot of investment because you don't have to spend a lot to get started. But we're talking really now, what really intrigued me was FBA, which is fulfilled by Amazon. For anyone that's listening that doesn't know, that's really where Amazon does all the heavy lifting. You take your product, you ship it in, and then they'll do the fulfillment for you. They'll do the refunds, they'll do, like the customer support, all of that stuff. So that's what really, really excited me about doing, the Amazon thing. Okay. So from there, if you want to just start, I would say retail arbitrage is a great way to kind of get your feet wet. Secondly, if you don't want to do retail arbitrage, you want to go in the private labeling space, and that's what I'm doing now, is where you take your own product and brand it, and then you manufacture it. And now you don't have to worry, about finding more product because you're the manufacturer. You can control that inventory. So one of the biggest things I always tell people when they're getting started is you want to look at a market, not just at a product. So you want to see what market are you serving and what products do they buy? And that's really where you get started. Then from there, you can go into Amazon and just see what Amazon is putting in front of you. So for example, if you go to Amazon and you're searching for a garlic press, let's say, you're going to go there and it's going to give you related products around a garlic press, and a garlic press would be in the cooking niche, right? Mm-hmm. So because of that, now I can go there and start getting all of these ideas coming at me because Amazon is giving me suggestions. And if Amazon is giving me suggestions, that must mean that people are buying that because they have a lot of data from a lot of years. So does that make sense?
Yeah. So, but one quick question that came up for me is, how did you transition from the retail arbitrage to manufacturing your own product? So do you first, to get started, you do the retail arbitrage, but using those same products, do you just start to manufacture those same products yourself, or do you end up developing a product that you think is going to fit a certain market?
Yeah, you can do that. What I like to do is I like to test with a product that's already currently selling. So I'm not going to try to reinvent the wheel. But one thing that you would do is if you see something that's selling really well, all right, now what you can do is look at all of their negative reviews. They have a lot of them are going to still have negative reviews. I mean, they might not have a ton, but even if it's a good product, you're going to have people that just complained about something, like it didn't have a long enough handle, it didn't have a long enough strap, or it was slippery or whatever, right? So once you hear these different feedback from, the reviewers, you can then enhance your product and make it better to answer those problems. All right. And then when you do that, now you've taken a product that you already know is selling well, and then you just modified it and made it better. And now you're going to market that product, in that same category.
Okay. And so that brings you to manufacturing. So how do you start manufacturing that product? And I know you work with some people work with manufacturers from China, but what's the whole process about finding a manufacturer?
Yeah, well, I mean, the easiest way is to go to China. I mean, you can go to AliExpress, Alibaba. Those are two of the main sites. And I always tell people you're not going there necessarily to find the product. You're going there to find your manufacturer or your agent, because what you want to do there is you really just want to find a product that's similar to what you're looking for, and then start engaging in a conversation and creating that relationship with this agent. Because on the front end, it looks like it's just a big giant website that you can deal with as far as sourcing products. But what it really is it's all of these agents behind this website. And then when you go and you put a contact support ticket in kind of thing, then you're contacting an agent, and then you can start interacting with that agent, and then you can start building that rapport, and then you can say to them, hey, what else do you have that's not on Alibaba? Do you have something in your catalog can you send me a catalog? And then they can send that to you, and then you can get more ideas, and then from there take those products and then go over to Amazon and see if any of those are selling okay. And then that's really how you can tap into finding a manufacturer without really going after the one that everyone else has found.
Okay. And once you already have your product, so how do you start the selling process and selling on Amazon?
Yeah, well, the basic process is this, and people need to understand that Amazon is based all off of sales. All right, all they care about is sales. That's it, right? Sales is going to move the needle. And what I mean by that is if you have a product and you put it up there and you have no sales, you're just going to go to the bottom of the page or the bottom of the barrel. Okay, you're not going to be found. So what you want to do right away is get sales. So one of the strategies that we use is we go ahead and we give away, and we usually figure this into our budget and our marketing plan, is we want to give away 100, maybe 150 units, and we can give them away in exchange, for not just a review, but just in exchange for them buying it, so that way there we can get a boost in our ranking, okay? Mm-hmm. And what people need to understand is that Amazon is a search engine for buyers. We want to rank in there just as though you would want to rank a website or your e-commerce store on Google. It's the same thing. We want to rank on page 1 for our keywords, okay? Mm-hmm. And it could be garlic press, stainless steel garlic press, whatever it is. We want to rank for those keywords because that's where you're going to get the most traffic, right? So if you don't get sales, you can't rank. So here's how it works. If you start getting sales through stainless steel garlic press, you're going to start ranking for the stainless steel garlic press. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now there's a couple different things that I do. And the very first thing is I do a giveaway where I'll give away my product, even at 100% discount. I'll give out these codes that they allow you to generate, and Amazon's okay with this. And then you give them away to either a review group or people maybe you have an email list. And then from there, they're going to buy through your listing and through that coupon code. It's going to trigger inside of Amazon's algorithm that you're getting sales. All right. Okay. So that's going to help get you kind of noticed. It's going to help you get on the scene. Now, the second part of that, what I do is I turn on Amazon pay-per-click. They have their own pay-per-click, platform inside of Amazon. And then you can show up on page 1 for your keywords if you want to bid enough. Just like if you're doing Google or if you're doing Bing or any of those ads, you can rank on page 1, day 1, if you want to spend enough. And a lot of times it's okay to even break even or lose money on that ad spend because all you're trying to do is get sales through that keyword. So if you want to rank for stainless steel garlic press, start bidding on that keyword, start getting traffic to your listing from that keyword, and then once you start getting sales, you're going to start ranking for that keyword. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And what are some other methods of promoting your product in Amazon?
Honestly, those are the two main ones. Those are the two main ones that you're going to want to do. A lot of people start talking about driving outside traffic. I wouldn't drive outside traffic until I've maximized my pay-per-click. Because pay-per-click, you can drill down for days and still not have all the keywords that you could potentially rank for. And the beautiful thing with Amazon is they give you a lot of the data. So if I run an auto campaign, they allow you to run an auto campaign, a manual campaign. I always start with an auto campaign, and that allows Amazon to take your product and position it in front of different keywords that they think would make buyers or that would create buyers. So now what I do is after 7 days that I've been running that, then I'll pull that report and it'll tell me what keywords that they're targeting for me. Then I can take those keywords and strip them out of those campaigns or that campaign, and then I can put them in my own manual campaign and then start bidding at like a phrase match instead of it being maybe a broad match. So those are just a couple of different things, but I see people a lot of times wanting to go outside of Amazon like right away, and I don't see it because the traffic is going to convert a lot lower when you go outside of Amazon than if you're in that platform. When people go to Amazon, they're there to buy. If people are on Facebook or if they're on Google, they're not necessarily there to buy. They're there doing something else, and you're just kind of interrupting them. I would say you want to do the launch process as far as the giveaway. That's the very first thing because that's going to help you get reviews. If you don't have reviews and your competition has 500 reviews, you're not going to convert that well. It's the social proof, right? It's like people trust what other people have said about a product. Okay, so if you don't have reviews, it's going to be hard to convert. You can get all the people to come to your page, but if you don't have those reviews, you're not going to convert. So I always tell people, try to get your first set of 25 or 50 reviews before you really start pushing pay-per-click, because then once you start pushing pay-per-click, even though you might get the traffic, you might not convert. But if you can convert and then get on page one and have some reviews, you're going to convert even higher.
It's really good that Amazon actually allows sellers to discount product, 100%.
Yep.
And then now it's going to help you drive the sales and get the reviews. So yeah,
I've done them, Robert, too, where I'll give it away for $1 or I'll give it away for $2. You can still do that. I just found that the 100% off definitely gets more people to take you up on that offer. But I've done both. I've done both.
And throughout your whole experience selling on Amazon, what's your worst failure that you've had just on Amazon?
Well, on Amazon, I've had a few, to be honest with you. And, it's part of business, I think, and everyone should realize that. There's no easy ticket, right? There's always going to be ups and downs. Mm-hmm. My second product, I think I missed the mark on. I didn't understand the depth of the market as much as I should have, and I learned a lot about that. And what that basically means is that I found a product that I thought was going to sell well, and it was selling well by maybe 3 different sellers. But the problem is after those first 3, there wasn't a lot of other sellers. There wasn't a lot of other demand. So the first 3 were eating up all of the demand for that product. So because of that, I needed to get in the first, second, or third position in order to get a lot of sales. So that was a failure. Still a failure. It's still, doing a couple sales a day. So it's not completely a failure. It's just not what I set out to. And my strategy really is to get a product to do 10 sales a day, really, and about a $10 profit. That's really what I look for in a good product. Now, that doesn't mean that if I can find something that's easy to, attach to my brand, that I won't do it if I can make a $7 profit. I would still do that. But I usually shoot for $10 profit on each product that I launch. But that's one of the, I would say, and I don't really call it a failure because I learned from it, right? I learned about depth of demand and all of that stuff. The other one is I recently had my manufacturer, and they've been doing this for quite a while. They've been packaging a bundle for me. Well, recently, that bundle was missing a piece. Mm-hmm. And because of that, I was getting a lot of refunds. And because of the refunds, Amazon suspended that listing. So now I'm out of commission until I get that fixed. And there was I can't really get into it, but there was a whole bunch of different things that I had to do and kind of work around to get my listing back live again. And then it really did take my ranking and bring it down. So my sales had slowed because of that. So I'm still working to get that back as we speak. But that was something that I learned a lesson. I need to have those inspected better than I've had them inspected before, especially when you're doing something with multiple pieces. So those are a couple, I would say.
Okay. Thanks, Scott, for being on the podcast and just sharing and giving us a quick overview on just the vast world of selling on Amazon. If people wanted to reach you, how can they get you?
They can just reach out to the blog, which is theamazingseller.com. And there's just about 190 episodes there now of the podcast. There's 100 and probably almost 200 posts there, and we've got a lot of great resources. I also do a live workshop. Generally, I do it once a week, but you can register for an upcoming free workshop where I walk you through the 5 phases. We spend about an hour and a half to 2 hours on that workshop, and that could be, you can register at theamazingseller.com/workshop, and you can register there for an upcoming one of that. That would be the 2 best places to get a hold of me.
Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts is get started. A lot of people, what they do is they really start analyzing and trying to think if this is going to work, and if it doesn't work, what happens, and okay, now I got to do this, but then I know in 3 weeks from now I'm going to have to do this. Don't think about all that stuff. Simplify it. I've got people right now I've interviewed on my own podcast that started really small. I got one guy that took a Craigslist listing of another guy he was taking a bunch of product that he had created, and he was basically selling it out because he didn't want it anymore. It was like, I don't know, it was like 1,000 of something. Mm-hmm. So he went ahead and he bought them for $65. Long story short, he turned that into a little package, a little bundle, and he made $1,100 profit on that, right? Mm-hmm. So because of that, now he took that $1,100 and he reinvested it into his first private label product. So just start. A lot of people, they think to themselves they got to have a certain amount of money or they got to have a certain amount of knowledge. Just start. If maybe it's retail arbitrage, start selling college books from college kids that want to trade their books in and they want to get money quick. There's a lot of different ways you can do it, but my big thing is always take action. You got to do something or you won't get any results. That's it.
Well said. And now final last question. What is the one thing an e-commerce business can do right now to grow, get traffic, or get sales?
Well, if we're talking about Amazon, it's going to be really honing in on your reviews and your sales because that drives everything. E-commerce side of things, I'm just starting to enter into that world where we're going to start building some outside funnels and some email lists and stuff like that. But I would say as soon as you can, start building an email list of your customers or of prospects. That right there will be the ticket for you in the future to do whatever you want with. If you have an e-commerce store right now and you're not selling on Amazon, that's your first step because you should be capitalizing on that traffic inside of there. And the other thing is if you already have an email list that you've built, or if you haven't gotten one yet and you have an e-commerce store and you're getting sales, you should be collecting those. You should do them like immediately. But what you can do with that now is you can have your own internal email list. And if you have a new product you're going to launch, you can give away 25 or 50 codes to your email list to help you promote it on Amazon and to boost that, the algorithm there. So the very first thing I would say for anybody outside of Amazon is, and even on Amazon, is start building that customer list.
Thanks for being on the podcast, Scott.
I appreciate it, Robert. Thanks for having me, and hopefully everyone got some value. And yeah, like I said, if anybody wants to get in touch with me, just head over to theamazingseller.com.
Thank you for listening to the E-commerce Marketing Podcast. Join the E-commerce Marketing Podcast Facebook group to learn, connect, collaborate, and grow with other e-commerce marketers at ecommercemarketingpodcast.com/FB. ecommercemarketingpodcast.com/FB. Subscribe to us on iTunes by searching for E-commerce Marketing Podcast, and please leave a rating and a review. Thank you for listening. See you next time.